Okay, so today, Jacob, what we're going to be working on is a book called A Horse Called Courage. Okay, just a little comprehension that you and I are going to be working with today. Have you read this book already?
No.
All right, what I'm going to do, I also have a worksheet, and I like to give this out first. And the reason why is because it helps us to think about what we're going to be reading, some of the questions. It'll help us think about how we're going to get through our book. Okay, so let's try to go over these questions together. The first one is, what is the title of the book? So here's your pen. What is the title of this book?
Horse called Courage.
Can you write that down for me?
I can talk, but I talk very weird.
Oh, it's all right. I understand you had surgery yesterday, so you're doing pretty good so far. All right. The questions that I want you to think about in your brain while we're reading this is, I don't know how many chapters we're going to read. We may just only read one chapter. We may even read two chapters. Not sure. But whatever chapters we read, we're going to write that down, okay? The other thing I want you to be thinking about is, as we read this book, think about one thing that was interesting to you while we were reading. And I want you to be able to explain why it was interesting. Can you handle that? I know you can. Now, before we get started, I have a question. What do you think the word courage means? What does it mean? I already know you know.
Going up to somebody that you don't really want to talk to.
Yeah, so it's kind of like being afraid, but even though you're afraid, you're doing it anyway, right? All right, so I'm just curious as to what this book is really about. Now, I've read the book already, but what do you think this book is going to be about?
Looks like from the cover, a girl gains courage to go catch a horse.
Oh, all right. Well, it just might be about that. We don't know. Let's get started. Do you want to read together first, or would you like for me to read one
You
page?
can
And
if you want.
all right. So let's go into chapter 1. Just think of it. We can spend the summer working with horses and get paid for it too. Summer Odom cried excitedly. Vanessa Downing grabbed Summer's hand and said, "You sure? You sure they'll hire us? Are you totally sure?" "Yes," Summer smiled. "My uncle owns the summer camp. He said he needs several teenage counselors to work with little kids." Standing nearby, are you following along?
Yeah.
Okay. Standing nearby, Tammy Nugent smiled too. Summer and Vanessa were not her best friends, but they were best friends with each other. Tammy didn't have a best friend in high school. She was so shy, she didn't have any close friends. Sometimes Tammy tagged along after Vanessa and Summer, but they always talked to each other and pretty much ignored her. Now, I know that we were reading one page at a time, but I went to the next page just so I can get to the sentence. So you can go on and pick up there.
How about you, Tammy? You're coming to work at Camp Colorado too, aren't you? Vanessa asked. I promised my uncle I could get 2 other girls besides myself. Oh yes, Tammy said in surprise at being asked. She needed the money very badly, but she didn't share the excitement and happiness of the other 2 girls. Tammy feared being so far from home for the first time. Worse yet, she was terrified of horses. The part of town where Tammy lived was nicknamed Little Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Along with her parents, grandfather, and her 3 brothers and sisters, she felt very safe and comfortable there. But next September, Tammy would be starting college, and she needed to earn some money this summer. The Nijon family had been struggling ever since they came to the United States. When Tammy's parents were teenagers, Tammy was determined to pay for her own education. Grandfather Tammy said that night, I think I can get a summer job at the children's camp. A girl I know from school is arranging it.
You can stop there for
Excellent.
1 minute.
I was
So-
just make it go.
Oh no, you can still. We're going to continue on, and because you want to continue reading, I am going to allow you to do that. I just wanted to stop and ask a quick question because on the page right before it was just kind of talking about Tammy being afraid. What was she most afraid of?
Horses.
Was she afraid of horses during this part though? What was she most afraid of?
Being away from home.
Yeah, why was that?
She's never been far away from home.
Mm-hmm.
And
What was
her
the?
friends.
Were they
She
really
was
her
like,
friends?
No.
No, why she really didn't have friends?
Huh?
Why
She's
didn't?
shy.
Yeah, because she was shy. All right, I just want to stop you there because I know the book. It has the picture of the cover of a horse, and I know we're going to be talking about a horse. But I also wanted to make sure we knew why she was
I'm just
afraid
back
right
away
now.
from the table because usually when I'm up against the table, I shake it a lot.
Oh, you're all
Sorry.
right. You're all right. You want to continue to
Yeah.
read? Go ahead.
Excellent grandfather said decades ago, just after the war, he had escaped from Vietnam in the first flimsy
Mm-hmm. You're right.
boat. Many of those had with him had drowned, and many were killed by pirates. But grandfather and grandmother had made it to the United States with them. They
Stop
brought
1 moment. Okay, so you know how you're just reading? I like the fact that you're reading, but I want you to kind of pause when we get to a period before you go on because I was kind of losing you there. It's like, oh, where are we? So just generally at a period, just pause for me. Go ahead.
With them, they brought a teenage neighbor boy who would become Tammy's father. But I am a little scared, grandfather. Camp Colorado is a long way up into the mountains, perhaps 100 miles from home, Tammy said. We came to this new land over thousands of miles, grandfather said with a smile. You have not that to fear. Go, dear child.
Okay, so go back again. It says, grandfather said with a smile, you have not that far to go, dear child. That word was far. You want to continue? You want me to
Yeah.
read? Okay, continue.
I know, Tammy said, but I am afraid of horses too, and will have to ride the horses there. You must not let fear control you, Tammy, grandfather scolded. You must say to yourself over and over that you will be brave.
Good.
A few days later, everyone applying for jobs at the camp gathered for
Interviews. Yep.
Tammy filled out the application and tried to hide her fear with it when she spoke to the camp director. Like Somer and Vanessa, Tammy was hired immediately.
Okay.
1 week later, all the camp employees boarded a bus headed for Camp Colorado. Tammy didn't know any of her passengers on the bus except Vanessa and Somer. And of course, those two girls shared a seat, talking constantly to one another. So Tammy sat alone, looking out the window. She didn't blame the girls for not paying attention to her.
Okay, stop for a moment there. Okay, so what's going on so far? We know that she wanted to go. She was afraid. But what did grandfather say to her?
You've been plenty of miles away from home, so you shouldn't have to really be scared.
And so why did he say that to her? What was he referencing to? What was he thinking about?
How far away we moved from our last home.
Yes, because what happened to him?
He had to move from Vietnam.
Mm-hmm. And so that was quite a ways. And he was trying to let her know, okay, look, we moved this far. Surely you can go 100 miles. It'll be okay. And what happened when she got on the bus, though?
She sat by herself because there was only two girls on the bus she knew.
Yeah.
And they were sitting together.
Yep, and it kind of took her back to being that shy person again, too, didn't it? All right, go ahead.
The sun was... Wait.
They had much more in common. When she said she didn't blame
The girls were not paying any attention. They had much more in common with each other than they did with her. Tammy conceded
Close. Let's break it down.
Concentrated.
You're close. You got it. Keep doing it. Go for one more time.
Concert.
Nope. Start it again when you said
Considered.
When you break it down into chunks, you got this. Considerate.
Considerate.
Now, it does look like considerate, except for it's a T there. So it's concentrated.
Concentrated.
Yes, good.
On feeling
I'm glad you tried that, though. You said, I got this.
grateful that his job would help her own many for college.
Is that word many?
Yeah, money.
Yep.
For college. The sun was shining brighter as the bus full of chattering teenagers rolled in through traffic. All along the way, however, Tammy fought the desire to crawl under away and hide.
Fought the what? Tammy fought the... What's that word again?
The desire
Mm-hmm.
to crawl away and hide. She had never been comfortable with strangers. Isn't this exciting, Tammy? Vanessa said as the bus began climbing the steep mountain road. My prediction is
What?
it's during the summer, so...
Mm-hmm. It is during the summer because they'll be outside, they'll be in the mountains. Now, since we talked about predictions and things like that, so far, in your prediction, you still think it's about a horse?
Not really, no.
What do you think it's about now?
Like a whole camp.
It's about the whole camp, huh? I wonder what this is really a good book. When I read this book, I couldn't put it down. It didn't take long for me to read it either.
Isn't this exciting, Tammy? Vanessa said as the bus began to climb
Excuse me.
the steep road. It was the first time today that she had talked to Tammy. Oh yes, Tammy said, trying to sound enthusiastic.
Very good. You did that one.
But in truth, she was more frightened than excited. If she had been going camping with her family, she would have been truly happy.
Okay, I'm going to read just a little bit. Oh, yeah, because we're at the end of chapter 1. So I'm going to take over from here. Thanks for reading. Tammy felt miserable. She knew that tonight her parents and brothers and sister would sit down to a fine meal of kale, chicken, and long rice soup. I love rice.
Isn't I don't know what kale is.
Kale is like it's a meal that they have in their tradition, and I should have looked that word up, and I didn't. Kale, C-H-A-O. You know what? We're going to look that word up together when we're done with this chapter. How about that? Because that is a word I think we should try to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay, for dessert, they will have this delicious moon cake. And it's like a sweet cake with rice. And it's filled with bananas and raisins. Now, that sounds really good. Any kind of dessert sounds good to me, though. You don't think so?
I said yes.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say no, I said yeah.
Oh, okay. They would all be warm and friendly with each other and have a pleasant, comfortable evening. With her whole heart, Tammy wished she could be there with them. As the bus climbed the winding mountain road, Tammy felt sadder about each mile that took her further and further away from home. Have you ever been far away from home?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is not so far where you're at now. What's the farthest you've ever been?
8 hours.
To where?
Illinois.
Oh, because
Family
we're...
reunion.
Family reunion?
We went to North Dakota, South Dakota.
So were you afraid?
No.
No? Okay.
Because I was with my parents.
So is there anything that you can say that you might have been afraid of?
Probably not really.
Really?
I mean, too many people around.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I'm kind of claustrophobic at sometimes.
I am
So,
too.
if I have a full car.
Oh my gosh. Being in a full car or even in an elevator for a long time. Do you find yourself watching the numbers as you're on the elevator to make sure? I do that. I go to Mount Mercy and my goodness, I am claustrophobic too.
You ever heard of a movie called 23 Blast?
No.
We watched it last Friday for Fun Friday, and they were in the elevator, and they were just starting to sing an elevator song. So that helped me out yesterday.
Oh,
'Cause
did
I
it
went
because
about
you had to
15
go?
stories high. Yeah.
You went 15 stories high yesterday for your doctor's
Yep.
appointment? So, oh wow. And so you actually thought about what they did in the movie and that helped you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that actually was you demonstrating courage during that point as well, because it was something that you're afraid of, but you still did it. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to have you go and get the computer, because one of the words that we're going to look up is what? Kale. CHAO. And we're just going to Google it. And then we're going to get started on our worksheet. Thank you. So we're just going to Google it. I'm sorry to be coughing so much. I'm not feeling so good. Okay. Did you find it? What?
That's weird.
What?
The word is mostly used as goodbye or bye.
CHAO?
He's thinking chow.
Oh, you know what? Well, because in the book it does say that, but let's see what it is. An acronym. Let me see. We're going to go because this is food. Okay. Now, let's go here because they do have two meanings. Okay.
I pulled that up and I'm like, what? That
I
don't look right.
know. No, it's not.
The
It's
way they
what
put it
it's
in the
this
book and then the way on the computer.
Okay. Let's look. There is a picture of it.
Oh, it's cheese.
It's slices. It says a soybean or something. Kale. Is it chao or kale? Let's go back to the... We're going to go up because I want to know how to even say this word. There it is. So we're learning this one together. Are they going to talk for us? It only lasts a minute.
You know what I could do?
What?
How to make it say the word?
Oh, I'm going to go back to it. I just wanted us to see this definition, see what they're using it for. So it's different kinds. There's one with tofu, there's one with peppers, there's one with black peppers.
See, one of our staff, his wife has like a
It is cheese.
Kung Pao chicken, her own restaurant. So then every night he brings for supper some of her hot stuff.
Oh,
She
really?
makes really hot tofu and different things. So he eats that for dinner. And we have two staff there that love their dinner.
Oh, really?
Love his food.
So
he
have you
brings it
tasted
up
this
back.
before?
Yep.
Pretty good?
Yeah, it is.
Go back.
It's been about 17 minutes.
Uh-oh. So we're running out of time here, huh?
Nope.
Are we doing pretty good?
Yep.
Well, I'm glad to know
How's
that.
it bleeding?
Are you bleeding? Do
I'm
we
done
need to
now.
take a break?
I'm done now.
Oh, okay. So are you going to keep it out of your mouth for a little bit?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's continue with this.
20 minutes. 17 minutes is closest enough to 20.
So, Mrs. Valentine. So we're looking at this, and I'm just trying to get, is it K-O, Ch-O?
Spell it.
C-H-A-O.
It says C-H-A-O, but I was just wondering if the C-H is like a silent and it's just K-O.
Give me the context of the sentence. Because a lot of people, I have friends that say chow,
Okay.
which is like goodbye.
I know, which is spelled C-H-A-O. So
Okay,
that's...
so Tammy felt miserable. She knew that tonight her parents and brother and sister would sit down to a fine meal of kale chicken and long rice soup.
I have a feeling it's some sort of grain.
It is. It is a grain, but I'm just trying to...
Maybe it's a typo. It could
I got
be
an idea.
Some other kind of grain.
So you
I got
think
an
it's
idea.
something different?
Let me look.
Okay, because CHAO, what would you pronounce that as?
Wow.
And we're going.
How do you speak? How do you say KO?
Let me look. It's probably KO, just like that.
Say S-A-Y.
Oh, it's Vietnamese.
It is.
It's a creamy vegan cheese.
How do you say Cheo?
Is a Vietnamese
Okay.
cheese, and we knew it was
This
a
is
cheese.
my guess because
Forget it.
the French
Yeah.
were in
Forget it.
Vietnam. It used to be called Indochina, and I'm going to say that they probably pronounced it just like the French did because they used, when they turned their language into written
Mhm.
form, they used French sounds. So French would be sh, so it's maybe shao.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's her guess.
That's my guess.
That's her guess because, we're having a hard time figuring out what this is. So, you know what I think we're going to do? For me, I am going to write the one thing that was interesting to me was the word CHAO. Because we still wasn't able to kind of figure out what the word really is said, the way it's said. What would you say is one interesting thing that you have read in this book?
That they're her, not really her friends, but they're like, they ignore her. a
Her
lot.
friends ignored her. And why was that so interesting to you?
Because, I mean, friends, I understand if friends are in a conversation, but, like, if they're not in a conversation,
Right.
they talk to everybody.
Right.
But then they were kind of being disrespectful and not really talking to her.
Didn't really show that they were friends at all, did it? Yeah. I would say the same thing. How many chapters did we read?
One.
Yep, we only read one.
Actually, I looked it up. It's pronounced chow. The way we would say, the way like chow mein noodles or something.
Oh, yeah.
But
That's spelled different.
right, but it's probably the way the French would have spelled chow.
Got you. Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
guessing because
No. We're working at this one together.
Vietnam used to be Indochina, which was a French colony.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Okay.
But I could be completely wrong.
Well, that's all right because we learned this one together. So
Yeah.
you say chao.
And
We
it's
say
cheese.
it is cheese.
It's like cheese.
Right, because and we saw that they put it with tofu, they put it with black peppers, and they put it with sweet peppers. The combination goes very well together. But trying to figure out how to say that word is
Well, it
kind
could
of.
be KO also. Well, actually, there are multiple pronunciations.
Which one do we want to go with?
One of the ones we'll probably go with was one of the wrong ones we were wanting.
Which one is that?
I don't know. There's plenty of definitions of them.
I know
so we
it's a
don't know
whole
which one to
lot.
go
I
to.
know. So we'll just we will mutually say
Depending on what language it is, you can figure out how to say it. So if it's from the French, like a lot of words like champagne,
it'll be shale.
it would be sh. If it's a hard C, you just have to figure out where it's coming from. But
So
it's
would
it's
it
an
be?
international word? But whoever did the Roman alphabet for it,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds did they ascribe to
Okay,
that
right.
word for the Vietnamese?
Right. So could it be a CH? Could it be a K? And it could also be a sh.
Yep.
All right.
Or KO, cow, or shao.
We got this. We got this. All right.
I'm still writing.
That's okay. Take your time. And while you're writing, I'm just going to keep reading some of this just because when I tell you, I really like this book. So it was mid-morning when the bus reached the campgrounds. Camp Colorado was a beautiful place with many log cabins and one very large cabin for dining and recreation. A sparkling lake lay amid pine trees at the bottom of the hill. Sad as she was, Tammy had to admit to herself that it really was a lovely sight. When the 20 young people filed from the bus, the camp director met them with a clipboard. "Hi, guys. I'm Dane Morgan," he said with a smile. He didn't look no more than 19 or 20, but he was confident and self-assured. Tammy couldn't help but notice that he was very handsome, too. "First thing you need to do is fill out these papers," he said. "Here's your chance to express your preferences for what kind of work you like to do around here. We don't want to put any square pegs in round holes. What does that mean?
What?
We don't want to put any square pegs in any round holes.
Because they get stuck.
Yeah, they don't. Right, because they will get stuck. But when he says we don't want to put, he wants them to fill out the papers. And he said we don't want to put any square pegs in any round holes. Could it be that he didn't want them to be put somewhere they didn't want to be? Because you're right, they would probably feel stuck. It wouldn't work for them, would it? Good. How much work you got, boy?
I don't just write one little thing.
That's okay. That's okay with me.
You should ask Miss Valentine how much I write instead of just writing little tiny details on
Well,
Play-Doh.
I remember when we
He
was
does
doing.
have lovely penmanship.
He does. I'm looking at it. He writes better than me. That's for sure.
He has lovely penmanship, and he's one of the kids, when he has his online class, he's one of the few that takes notes.
What online class are you taking?
The Play-Doh class.
Oh, that Play-Doh learning?
He says, yeah.
Yes. Okay. You do take notes. I've seen you take notes. Because I would say, what are you doing? You said, I like to take notes while I'm doing this. Everybody laughed. All the girls giggled and whispered to each other about how gorgeous Dane was. He had thick, curly hair and big brown
Answer
eyes.
this one too.
Yes, you can. Why did you find it interesting? That was the part that we're doing.
Friends should interact with all friends should interact instead of just
Ignore each other.
ignoring one.
I would totally agree with you. Have you had friends to do that to you?
Nope.
Kind of hard to call them a friend when they act like that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You can continue. It's okay. Kind of like that. Those things that happen.
Instead is UNSTEE.
I-N. It's all, yep, when you get stuck, you know how you got stuck on one of those other words and you was breaking it down into chunks? You can do the same thing with that. And yes, that is exactly how you spell it.
Instead of not paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. One of the interesting, may I read it? Okay. One interesting part in the chapter you read is, to me, in the first
I thought
chapter,
when you pulled that out, there was a blanket.
we're still working here.
Sorry.
It's all right. In the first chapter there was 3 friends on a bus. Okay, give me 1 minute, Jacob. Come on back here for 1 minute. Oh, you got your drink over there. Okay. On a bus to Camp Colorado. 2 of the girls didn't talk to the one girl and being rude and making her feel shy, and she gets worse. Oh, as they started going to the camp. You're right. It did get worse. And you found that interesting because friends all should talk to another instead of not paying attention to the other girl. I like that. And my interesting thing was that one word that we still found that we can say it several different ways. But we do know that it's a cheese, right?
So much for doing it for 15 minutes.
I know. So much for doing it. We said we'll do it for 15 minutes, but that just did not happen, did it? Well, I appreciate you being flexible.
We're doing this again tomorrow, too?
I wish. You know what? Today's my last day. I know.
So I'm going to stop this.
I know. Yes, you can stop it now. I know. Today's
Maybe
my...
my student teacher will come here.
I know. Yes, it's my last day. I am sad. I'm very sad.
Well, I think high school students are the most fun anyway.
Really?
I think Lori would say so too.
I don't know how to stop it.
I don't know how to stop it either, Jacob.
know.
Let's see.
I know how to do it.
Okay, good. Mrs. Valentine
Don't
can do
wait
it.
a
We don't want to.
I don't want to be in it.
Why not?